give him one or two swing thoughts? Like, here's one or two things I need you to do as the starting quarterback.
Oh yeah. Yes, and yes, and yes. Yeah, very clearly. And it was about managing the game. It was about making sure he wasn't over trying to be like somebody else or try to measure up to somebody else's expectations. Be the best version of himself and keep that really solid and intact would give him the best chance. And so that's kind of how we talked. He's really, he's met all the expectations at this point. Need to get that game at the end, somehow. Unfortunately, that we get a hold. It was a legitimate hold on the screenplay. That's the play. It knocks us down to the 8 or whatever. We really were going to go get it done, and unfortunately, we didn't overcome it once we got that penalty.
Yeah, I mean, if I were to have told you, Pete, that 3 games into the season, Geno would be completing 78% of his passes. 78%, 4 touchdowns, 2 picks, a QB rating over 100. I mean, from an execution standpoint, I've told you this analogy before, right? Blacksmith versus artist. And I had a certain coach tell me I needed more artistry, and I was like, I'm just a blacksmith. I mean, you drafted me like there's not much more creativity in art, but I can operate, and right now he is operating. Is the next step a little more creativity when a play breaks down, or if, something is off schedule? Is that the next step in his artistry?
To some extent, yeah. We'd like a little bit. Where he makes his special stuff happen, but he didn't have to scramble. The protection was so good yesterday. He was in the pocket and solid throughout, and I don't think that. I think more than that, we need to understand the opportunities that are there and the choices that he could make. That are really the best percentage for us. There was a couple times there, we went up top and in shorter yardage situations on third down when we were really killing it on third down. I mean, our third down game is the best it's been in a while now. This is the best we've looked, and he's following through with the reads and the concepts and the principles. And then we took a couple shots yesterday on those downs, and we didn't convert them. Stuff like that, just cleaning a couple choices up during the game and see if we can't, just keep trying to play perfect. That's the whole idea. He's trying to get a perfect game out there, and he won't, but that's the way you want to approach it.
How is his deep ball, Pete? Because his intermediate throws, he threw that out route yesterday to DK. I mean, that is a high degree of difficulty throw.
Sure.
I think that wasn't a third down. The one element we haven't seen, which I know you love taking those shots, and I'm not just talking go routes, but just how is we just haven't seen as many deep balls from him. How is his deep ball game?
Well, he went up, I think, at least 3 times yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
In the game, and he's solid at it. He is not. I mean, I don't know that there's anybody better than Russell. He was great at it, and that was how he relied on those plays with the great touch and all that. We don't feel like that's the strength of our game, that we're trying to just bomb the ball up, but we still want to use the whole field and the crossers and the posts, and it's just like the seam routes that he throws so well. It's not the number one priority for us. It was. That was something we really had to do in the past.
It dawns on me as you're talking through that figuring out what a quarterback is best at versus their weaknesses and trying to build an offense around those seems of the utmost importance. And I go back even to Russ when he first got here in 2012, and all of a sudden you're running read option, which was not something that had ever been a part of your life or the coordinator's life really leading up to that. So how much time do you spend on that, kind of heading into this season or into each game, thinking about Geno in particular?
No, it is. That's a good question, because it is what we have been doing. We've been developing his package of stuff that he can do, that he really has confidence in, we can execute, we can count on. That's the exciting thing that's been happening, is that you could see it coming, that he just kept commanding different aspects of the throwing game and the run checks and stuff. He's done all of that. And it was kind of last week I said, well, screw it, he's got it. He knows what we're doing. We're fine. And we've seen a couple games of him, and we feel good about the prep, and let's go. And that didn't change us drastically. Oh, now we're going to throw a bunch of thises or that's. It just was. He had just emerged to me, and let's go. And so I think I don't know that we called many calls yesterday that were any different because of that, but we certainly were counting on him to be able to do stuff, and he did. And so it's hard to be 50% on third down, and we're right now we're hitting third down. We're hitting some numbers right now. So that's a big deal for us, and it's going to lead to a lot of success, and it's going to lead to a lot of consistency, and hopefully we can keep it going.